just a few years ago, they said we're going to have to re-invade Iraq to defeat ISIS. Donald Trump defeated ISIS in a matter of weeks, and then he brought America's sons and daughters home. What an amazing, amazing track record of leadership. But let's be honest, the country wasn't broken in 4 years, and 4 years was not enough time to root out all of the corruption. So while Americans were getting richer, a lot of bureaucrats and globalists were getting poorer. That was the story of Trump's term. So Kamala Harris, she and her corrupt handlers, they came up with a plan. Now, they couldn't beat Donald Trump in an honest debate, so they decided to engage in censorship. They were going to censor Donald Trump, and they were going to censor his supporters. Now, remember, back in 2020, they lied about Biden's corruption and covered up the fact that his family got rich by selling access to the United States government. And Kamala Harris was there for all of it. They lied about the Hunter Biden laptop and encouraged big tech to silence the story, and they did. They lied about COVID coming from a Chinese lab, and they censored anybody who disagreed. Kamala Harris even went on national TV and said Joe Biden was as sharp as a tack. Even he was clearly mentally incompetent to do the job, and so it's obvious what's been going on, right? Kamala Harris has been calling the shots. And by lying about his mental fitness for the job, she got what she always wanted, which was more power. And what was the result? On her watch, gas prices are up 50%. Housing costs have doubled. You talk to a young person today, young people cannot afford to buy a home in their own country. We're turning a generation of 20 and 30-year-olds into permanent debtors. Donald Trump and I believe young people ought to own a stake in their own country, be able to build a life and start a family. That's what we're fighting for. Grocery prices under Kamala Harris are up 21%, and I think that undercounts it. A record number of Americans are working multiple jobs. The housing market is as unaffordable as it has ever been. And the average new car costs nearly $50,000. Americans, this is heartbreaking. We now owe more than $1 trillion in credit card debt, a record high at a time when interest rates are going up and up. That's not all she did, my friends. She isn't just causing high prices, she is undoing the incredible work that Donald Trump did to rebuild American manufacturing. Now, we stand very close, of course, to the new Goshen factory, right? That's right. And remember the tie-breaking vote that she cast to send inflation through the roof. Remember that vote? That vote also made Chinese companies like Goshen eligible for millions of your taxpayer dollars. Now, the great Mike Rogers, who's running for Senate, has been a champion on this issue. Thank you, Mike, for doing what you do. There we go, stand up. But it's not just great, it's not just the really good ones like Mike Rogers. Even some of the folks in Obama's administration said that the Goshen factory plant is a threat to America's national security. Even Obama's leadership. But Kamala Harris not only wants to allow the Chinese Communist Party to build factories on American soil, she wants to pay them to do it with our tax money. Now, China has also, of course, stolen from Michigan car companies and unfairly subsidized its auto industry for years. That is the wreckage of what the Chinese have been doing. And now Democrats in this state, and including Kamala Harris, want to give them hundreds of millions of dollars to those same companies that have been undercutting Michigan auto workers. What a disaster, isn't it? Now, I know, like I said, we've got some great leadership, like Mike Rogers, who are helping us in this fight. We've also got Chairman Pete Hoekstra, who will help turn Michigan red. Where's Pete at? We've got the great Tudor Dixon. Where's Tudor at? I saw Tudor earlier. There's Tudor Dixon. Now, they all know firsthand that Democrats are helping China destroy and replace our auto industry from the inside out, and we're going to stop it. The Democrats are helping China, and it's not just in Goshen, okay? They're doing a lot more beyond that. In fact, just a few weeks ago, you probably saw this, Stellantis announced that it would lay off nearly 2,500 proud Michigan auto workers, making the iconic Ram 1500 Classic. Now that is the record of Kamala Harris shipping American jobs to China and paying them to do it with your tax dollars. And what did she talk about at her convention speech? I just saw that. Did you see Kamala's convention speech? Well, that was smart of you for not seeing it, but I'm in this business. I have to. Now, Kamala Harris said, "When we fight, we win." This is one of her favorite taglines. And I don't know if you saw it, but then Tim Walz stood up and shouted, "And even when we don't fight." That's what Tim Walz said. Now, he lies about everything, of course. He calls me weird, but then he lies about how his kids were conceived. Who does that? That's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. He said he served in combat, but the closest Tim Walz ever came to combat is when he let rioters burn Minneapolis to the ground and did absolutely nothing to stop it. And I know we have got a lot of veterans out there. I served in the United States Marine Corps, and I did go to Iraq when my country asked me, and I'm proud of it. And I know a lot of veterans who take offense but there are a lot of veterans from across our military who don't like it when other people lie about their service for military gain, and that's exactly what Tim Walz did. It is a slap in the face to all veterans, and it's not just from Tim Walz. Kamala Harris not only chooses to stand by this man, because in spite of his dishonesty, she actually chose him to become her vice president to begin with. Now, while we're on the subject of their convention, she said something else at her convention. She said, and I don't know if you paid attention here, she said there are going to be extremely serious consequences for voting for Donald Trump. Now, Kamala, I've got two responses to that. First of all, that is not a very presidential thing to say. Is she the vice president or the vice principal, warning about very serious consequences, whining at people for telling a joke instead of trying to persuade them that she deserves to be their president? I'm sick of people like that. But second, it's the substance, because the extremely serious consequences, Kamala, have come from your leadership as vice president of the United States. Americans can't afford groceries because of your leadership, Kamala. Young people can't afford homes because of the policies that you have enacted as vice president. Now, the only serious consequence in November that I'm worried about is giving Kamala Harris a disastrous promotion. Let's say to Kamala Harris, "You are fired. We are not sending you to the Oval Office." Now, my favorite line from Kamala is she says, if you elect her president, she is going to fix it all on day one. Well, Kamala, I hate to break it to you, but day one was 1,300 days ago. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. What the hell have you been doing during all that time? The message from this crowd and this state of Michigan is you had your chance, you failed, and we're not giving you a promotion. And Donald J. Trump is coming back to clean up your mess, Kamala Harris, and it's going to start right here in the state of Michigan. Now, Kamala Harris has run her entire campaign on the idea that she's joyful. But ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? No. The only person in America who could possibly answer yes to that question is probably Kamala Harris herself. She went from getting no votes for president and having to drop out to getting no votes for president.
Hey, you ain't supposed to smack him like that. The fuck is wrong with you?
No wonder Kamala was joyful.
Man, I'm on my property. You can't come over here and do nothing to me. Hey, you ain't got a search warrant. You can't come over here, man.
Can't afford their rent.
Hey, look, I got you all on camera right now. I'm on my private property. Hold on, man. Hold on. You're under for what?
Law enforcement has the right to arrest any bystander that interferes with official police conduct. This man stood on his porch and recorded the entire incident without interfering. Courts have ruled that recording police officers and even yelling at police officers is constitutionally protected activity. It makes this arrest unjustifiable.
Lawyer's reaction.
Hey, you ain't supposed to smack him like that. The fuck is wrong with you? Man, I'm on my property. You can't come over here and do nothing to me. Hey, you ain't got a search warrant. You can't come over here, man.
better leadership. That's all we need to fix this country.
Hey, look, I got you all on camera right now. I'm on my private property.
Kamala Harris.
Hold on, man. You're under.
Law enforcement has the right to arrest any bystander that interferes with official police conduct. This man stood on his porch and recorded the entire incident without interfering. Courts have ruled that recording police officers and even yelling at police officers is constitutionally protected activity. It makes this arrest unjustifiable.
Not to illegal aliens.
Lawyer's reaction.
Hey, you ain't supposed to smack him like that. The fuck is wrong with you?
Kamala Harris wants to shut down.
Man, I'm on my property. You can't come over here and do nothing to me. You come. Hey, you ain't got a search warrant. You can't come over here, man. Hey, look, I got you all on camera right now. I'm on my private.
Kamala Harris wants to reward companies that ship American jobs overseas, and she wants to raise taxes on American workers. Donald Trump is going to cut taxes for American workers, cut taxes for the businesses that hire them, and raise the tariffs on the companies that are shipping jobs overseas. That's our promise, and that's exactly what Donald Trump's going to do. And so, while Donald Trump is the people's president and Kamala Harris is running on a fake joy, Donald Trump is going to offer something very, very different. He's going to offer a very real hope for the future of this country. Hope that we can reignite our economy and bring back prosperity. Hope that we can raise our kids in secure neighborhoods with safe borders. Hope that we can renew the patriotism that binds us together as one nation under God. Amen. My friends, the American dream right now, it probably seems a little out of reach to a lot of us, but in 69 days, we're going to save every single American dream. We're going to save this country for the citizens of this land, and we are going to lead together with President Donald J. Trump a great American comeback. So I want us to send a message. I want us to send a message. They can hear it all the way in San Francisco. They can hear it in Tim Walz's Minneapolis. They can hear it all across this country, that Michigan is going red. Michigan is leading the great American comeback, and Michigan is going to elect Donald J. Trump, the next president of the United States. God bless you all, and thank you for having me in this beautiful country. God bless you all.
Yeah.